Hi everyone, welcome to Be Fit Pitt, connecting activity and wellness in a social distancing world. My name is Alexandra Waltmeyer. I am a member of the Pitt Alumni Association staff, and we are so excited to welcome you here today to hear from Renee Rogers on this very important topic that is relevant to all of us at this point. So Renee is an associate professor in the Department of Health and Physical Activity and the program director at the Pitt Healthy Lifestyle Institute. Prior to returning to the university for her graduate training, Dr. Rogers spent several years as a practitioner, helping her frame her passion for translating research into practice. Dr. Rogers has had the unique opportunity to apply innovative and evidence-based programming to university broadly in her role at the Healthy Lifestyle Institute. And because she is a two-time Pitt graduate, she has a vested interest in helping the university become stronger and healthier. She told me so many times how excited she was to speak with alumni today. And so we're so happy to have her. Since taking on the role of programming director and joining faculty in 2012, offerings for staff and faculty at the university have expanded to include the Be Fit Pitt initiative. The focus is on helping the Pitt community move more during the workday, and that currently has over 2,000 employees engaged. She also works on the Making the Move program that helps transition participants to the fitness center setting, and 2 fitness centers operated under her direction. Multiple group fitness classes with expanded offerings and locations on both upper and lower campus. In response to COVID-19, Dr. Rogers has moved all fitness and wellness offerings online and is now offering live streaming activities daily at Pitt. Of importance and something that she is passionate about, Dr. Rogers not only offers evidence-based programming to the well-deserved Pitt community, but within these offerings has designed practical training opportunities for our undergraduate and graduate students as well, helping the next generation of Pitt alumni grow into the finest health and wellness professionals. We are so excited to have her today. One more piece of business before I turn it over to her. She has some of her team members here today to help her with your questions and help demonstrate some things as she talks about them. But what we would like to ask is if you do have any questions today, you put them in the chat. That will be the easiest way for us to see them. And then if we have time at the end, after she addresses the things that have come up in the chat, we will open it up for more questions. Thank you all again for being here, and thank you to Dr. Rogers for presenting for us today.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. It is an absolute delight, and it is true when I say how excited I am, just as a Pitt alumni twice myself, to be able to speak to you all today. Health and wellness and fitness is absolutely my passion. And thank you for going through my bio, Alexandra, and explaining a little bit more about my history and the work that we're doing here at Pitt. But I really want to use my time with you today to try to connect you to really how activity and wellness can help us during this time. And while it may seem far away from what we're really connected to and what we're really worried about right now, it really can be a tool to help us through this time. So I'll tell you, just to kind of get us started a little bit here today. Let me try to there we go. My mouse wasn't working, but just give you a sense of a little bit of the agenda that I'd like to cover today as we go forward. So first off, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Pitt Healthy Lifestyle Institute and give you a little bit more about my general background and what really fuels the work that we're doing here at Pitt, at the Institute, and through Be Fit Pitt. Then I want to talk to you about healthy lifestyle concerns that have really come up related to COVID-19. And some of the research and the latest evidence that's come out. I promise you, I'm not going to bore you with too much research, sciencey research. I'm really going to try to bring it forward in a way that is clear and helps you really connect things in an evidence-based manner. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about shifting your mindset. A space that I'm very passionate about is really helping people think about creating an active lifestyle rather than just thinking about it as quote unquote exercise. And we'll get into that here in a minute. And then really helping you think about what really counts. What is the right things to do, and what are the things that are actually going to help me? Given COVID-19 and everything moving online, that also means that a lot of voices have popped up online. And I want to try to help you find some clear, maybe answers to some of those questions that you've had about what's safe, and what's realistically going to help you. And then I'll give you some of my favorite tips right now for building an active lifestyle from home. Some of the work my team has done to think about this, and some practical tips that you can take with you. And then last but not least, I really want to introduce you to the array of wonderful resources that are available now that my Be Fit Pitt team has created in very quickly, in about a matter of a month, to really help you stay active while you're in your home environment. So let's start with some background and talk a little bit about the Pitt Healthy Lifestyle Institute. So I like to use this just graphic to help you understand us, but the Pitt Healthy Lifestyle Institute was founded by distinguished Professor John Jakisik. He is our director, and I am blessed enough to sit underneath him as the programming director of all health and wellness initiatives. And this expands both within our university community and also out into the general Pittsburgh community. So we primarily do programming for faculty and staff in our programming arena, and also integrate with other units to do specialty wellness services. We also have a Moving Health with Media core that I direct, which is focusing on thinking about how we can really offer strong, positive, evidence-based lifestyle opportunities through this core and translate and make fitness and wellness more accessible. And some of this comes with our Pitt Healthy Lifestyle Institute as being the mother, right? The main program, and Be Fit Pitt and Moving Health with Media core sit underneath this. But Be Fit Pitt is really our outreach entity. That's really our publicly facing entity. And the Moving Health with Media core is heavily research focused. And now with our new COVID-19 circumstances, really, really becoming an asset in helping us get our services online. So how I came about to be in these two roles really stems from my background initially as a performance artist. I was a dancer, and for anyone that knows me well knows that from the time I was a young child, that was what I was going to do, and that was going to be my career. And I was very lucky enough early on to have a successful stint working as a dancer in theater, in production, behind the scenes, some direction, and for a long time standing as a choreographer. It's still a passion of mine. But that background in media and production, when it came time for me to make the decision to go back to school, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I fell in love with exercise physiology because there was a clear connection between me finding a passion for dance and then what the body's capable of doing through exercise. And I saw a connection. And the one thing that always baffled me was I had such a love for movement and dance and that art in of itself. But when I started to study exercise physiology, it became very clear that not everyone feels the same way about being physically active. And sometimes the word exercise isn't actually that appealing. So that's what led me to the University of Pittsburgh, where I earned both my master's and my doctoral degree. John Jakisik was my mentor. And my focus in my studies was not just exercise physiology. It really was focused on engagement and how we can really help people connect to physical activity in a relevant way, whether it's to help us medically, to help us physically, spiritually, emotionally, all those different areas. That's my expertise, along with building interventions to coincide. So that's how, as our Healthy Lifestyle Institute was developed, my passions really came together to allow me to do this great work. So I'm really excited that you all are here and you can hear a little bit about this and how we're really trying to take our really strong research that we're doing in the laboratory at the Institute and actually translating it into practice. And the university in many ways is our living laboratory. We're bringing the greatest, the most current evidence-based work forward and trying to pull it into practice on a daily. So this is what makes it so special. And this is my team right now. And I don't know how many of you are tuned into this, but we have this wonderful hashtag at the university called Hailing from Home. And this is my team, and this was actually last Friday on a call, and all of my graduate students, there are 15 of them, master's level students, that all year long have been in the gym teaching fitness classes, working with clients, writing programs, doing all these amazing things. And then one of the first pieces of news, right, with COVID was before the universities even shut down, right, our businesses shut down, gyms were the first thing to go. So many of these students were in a position of, what do we do now? And you're looking at a team of people that quickly came together and said, nope, we can still help people and we can do a really good job doing it too. because we have the evidence base, we have the knowledge, and we have the Pitt spirit behind us. So in true Pitt nature, we came together and we forged ahead following our branding lines. So you're seeing my 15 graduate student assistants, plus one of my other colleagues, a faculty member colleagues, Kevin McLaughlin, who's got his back to us on here, Karen Quirin, one of my staff, and then a few other of my health fitness specialists and doctoral students as well, that all came together to really provide some great opportunities. But this is really what fuels me, is providing these experiences for our students and seeing them grow and seeing them find their joy in helping people to become more fit. So let's switch gears and let's talk a little bit about some of the concerns that have come up with COVID-19. And, you know, we can think about the obvious, right? The idea of not getting it, or dealing with, if we did, how we can handle it and manage it, and hopefully it doesn't lead to deeper concerns. But I want to stop for a minute and think about prior. You know, prior to this case, we weren't doing so great as a society when it comes to our lifestyle behaviors. In general, right now, our newest physical activity guidelines for Americans tell us that only about 19 to 22% of the American population is getting enough activity on a daily basis. And when we look at dietary concerns, there are many of those as well. And this idea of physical inactivity, though, independently is associated with a lot of health risks. And this is really tied to cardiovascular disease, diabetes risk, certain cancers, obesity, and other conditions. So we were great before this. And now there was actually some recent Fitbit data that came out, and that's showing us that ever since the onset of COVID-19, there's a strong correlation between the significant drop in the number of steps per day worldwide that people are taking. So this is real data. It's real out there, and we can see this. So thinking beyond the steps, so our steps per day went down. Well, that makes sense, right? We're at home. We're isolated in smaller spaces. We're social distancing, and that means staying away and not going to a lot of places. And many people think, well, I can't exercise anymore. That's a problem. But if we really put it into perspective, many of us aren't running around doing the things on a daily basis that we had done before. We're not running to the grocery stores regularly. We're not on our feet traveling around our offices. A lot of things have changed in that light, that where we were getting a lot of steps that we weren't even thinking about, those now have been majorly reduced. The other thing is that this lack of fitness center access is big. For a lot of people that were already exercising, we've lost our spaces. We've lost our swimming pools. We've lost our public active spaces for folks that love to play basketball or other sports. We can't do those around other people anymore. We've also seen a large increase in sedentary behavior, or sitting behavior, which many of you are probably doing right now as you listen to me, and as I am as well. But we've really sitting more and more, and sitting time or sedentary behavior is also independently associated with health risks. We even know that for people that are already active, if they sit for the rest of their day, there's actually other health declines that can be associated with that. So if we're not active and now we're sitting more, you can see where some of this concern lies. And then an area that I actually think is more important than anything and relevant right now is this idea that self-isolation is really impacting our emotional well-being. Many of us are feeling as though, not being around people, this whole stressful situation is really taking a toll on us. And I do feel that this is a space and a place that physical activity can help. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So being active now, I just mentioned this, the emotional well-being and stress relief. There is an abundance of literature that we have known for quite some time now that just getting up and moving, even if it's for 1 minute, can make a really strong impact on the way that you feel, and actually stimulates muscles to move, stimulates blood flow. That blood goes up to your brain, and we suddenly see changes in mood. We see really focus and productivity, and all these things increase that are really, really positive right now. We know that being active right now can help us with the prevention of weight gain. There is lots of evidence out there that really tells us honestly that when it comes to trying to lose weight, diet is the driving force. Physical activity supports it. However, if you're trying to prevent weight gain, physical activity can actually be really helpful, but you have to be doing enough of it and on a regular basis, which many of us aren't doing, as I already previously described. We want to disrupt that sedentary time. And there's a lot of reasons for this right now. We're on a Zoom call right now. It's another one, right? And that's okay. And that's great. We're learning together. I love it on a Friday. We're all coming together at 3:30 in the afternoon. But for many of us, we went from very active jobs. Even if we're in meetings all day, we're getting up and we're moving. Now we're in one place. And we have to think about our bodies as well. What's going on with your posture while you're sitting on these calls all day? How about your eyes? How are they feeling looking at the computer screen? So all of this is extraordinarily relevant, and we're finding that we've known for some time, I should say, that when you get up and you move for 1 minute, it can actually help to wake you up, re-energize you, and also potentially help with your productivity. So when you're on Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call, if getting up and moving is going to help you recharge and get back into your day, that really can have some positive benefits right now. Because we're hearing more and more in the news and the media that people are really feeling burned out with this new work environment. The next one is boosting immune function. And we've long known that physical activity and exercise has immune boosting effects. And that is both in the acute phase and in the chronic phase. And what I mean by that is, even with a short bout of physical activity, we actually see the internal physiological processes that turn on components of our immune system to kind of kick up. And that's my basic explanation without getting overly sciencey. But just 5 to 10 to 15 minutes of physical activity that's a little bit more moderate in pace and intensity can have these immune boosting these effects. But in addition to that, if we are regularly exercising and having a regular pattern, we start to see that immune system build up over time. I could go on and on forever, but I promised you I wasn't going to get too sciencey. So with that, let me go on. But you can see that activity might actually be relevant for us right now and might really be a positive thing that we should all be tuned into. Okay, so let's talk about mindset shift, activity over exercise. And as we forge ahead through this presentation, I've made it my personal goal, across my career, that I want to help folks with this concept more than anything else. And this idea, and I want to start out by saying to you that everything we do is a form of physical activity. And this is the physical activity spectrum. And I love to talk about this in my presentations, because we always think this idea that exercise is something quote unquote, and we have an idea of what that is in our heads. So maybe we think it is, we have to go do this really intense, high intensity interval training program because we're hearing everybody talk about HIIT on the news and how HIIT's the magical thing. Or it's that I have to do yoga. If I want to find peace, if I'm doing exercise and I'm doing it right, it's got to be yoga. And the reality is everything we do is a form of physical activity. It really comes down to how much energy we're expending while we do it. So I'm going to start talking to you about this diagram that's in front of you. And it is, this spectrum is a bidirectional arrow. It's going two ways. And the reason for that is I want you to start thinking about physical activity as being a continuum. It's something that you're actively engaged in doing all day. And you're going to change the different types of activities you do. And more importantly, I want you to try to focus on not doing too much of one thing. So let's talk through this, feasibly thinking about it. Sleep. Sleep is actually an activity. It's a really important time for brain function. Now, it's on the lighter edge. You can see the lighter coloring of this on this spectrum because it is an activity, but it doesn't cost us a lot of calories. So we don't expend a lot of calories when we sleep, but it's still an activity. But there's lots of benefits with sleeping. So we need to be making sure that we're sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day. And of note, right now, that's so important for immune function. And then there's sedentary behavior. Sedentary behavior is sitting behavior, yes. And as I mentioned to you, it does hold independent health risks. If we sit too much, it's actually quite problematic. But let's face it, we have to sit sometimes. Our bodies need to sit sometimes. So it's relevant. It's a physical activity we likely have to do. We likely have to do for our jobs at some point. But we shouldn't be doing it all the time. It's okay to sit, but you can also sit too much. Then there's this next category of light activity, and this is an emerging space of research that we're also doing work in. But light activity is the idea of, what if you stand up and you just kind of walk around for a little bit? Or what if you stand up and take a quick activity break? We're going to show you some here at the end. And take these little spurts of activity here or there. You make the decision that in between meetings, you're going to go up and down your steps a couple times. Or you're going to change a load of laundry quickly or do some activities around the house as quickly as you can. That light activity actually is really beneficial and can really help us when we're trying to break up the sedentary behavior. And then there's the moderate activity, and I always feel like this moderate activity gets ignored, when the reality is almost all of our research in the exercise physiology space shows that moderate intensity activities have a really strong impact on our health and wellness. In fact, our physical activity guidelines for Americans are based on doing moderate intensity activity. And what that means is activity that is a little bit more than that light, but something like a brisk walk. So not the walking pace that you would take when you're just kind of walking down the street, right? But more of a enhanced, going a little faster. Maybe you might get a little bit out of breath. It's almost like, the bus is coming, right, in the next 5 minutes. So you're going to kind of pick up the pace in case it gets there early. That moderate activity can actually be really, really impactful. And then there's vigorous activity. Vigorous activity is what people typically think is being exercise. This high intense, very structured, very focused kind of exercise to get us a particular health outcome. And that's great. And I want you all to do it. I'm never going to tell you not to do that. But the reality is because you're expending such a high amount of energy or calories during that type of activity, you can't do it all day. So we really need to think about having some of that in our life, but also how can we slide back and forth on this two-way arrow and prioritize how much time we're spending in each area. So if we do that intense workout, how can we think about not sitting all day, taking time for light activity breaks, maybe sneaking in a brisk walk, and then going to bed at night and getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and then doing that all over again and shifting yourself around. So what really counts? And when we think about what really counts, I want to remind you of the definition of exercise. And this is that vigorous stuff, right? So by definition, the exercise physiologist, tells you it's a type of physical activity consisting of planned, structured, repetitive bodily movement done to improve or maintain one or more components of physical fitness. Great. I think we all know that. I think we've been told how this is important and that we need to do it. What I like to focus in on is this idea that it's about being active. And I just told you on the last slide, right? All of these things are activities. Exercise is just the structured, intense side of it, is only just a piece of it. What we really need to be thinking about is being active in general. And this opens up so many other possibilities for us to really embrace and take advantage of this. So let's talk a little bit about building an active lifestyle at home with our current situations. And these are some of my favorite tips that I've talked to folks about. And I say you've got this, Pitt, because it actually may be a little bit easier than we're giving ourselves credit for accepting. Instead of looking for the perfect workout that's going to fix things, I want you to think about these 6 points, and the first 3 are up on the screen. And I want you to start by letting go of all or nothing exercise thinking. Use that activity spectrum that I just described to you. And remember that all activities are positive for different reasons, and they're necessary for different reasons. It's not just about physical fitness, and we need to focus on not getting stuck in one place and doing one thing. Breaking it up, I want you to think about, getting away from this idea of big blocks of time. We have to do everything. I have to do a 60-minute workout. Right now, for me, feasibly to think about finding 60 minutes for a workout is really hard with our new work environment. For those of you that have families and kids, this creates a different kind of conflict. Now that your children may be at home, you're managing that piece of it. So spread activity throughout your day as best as you can. And this goes back to sliding back and forth on that spectrum. Take a 1-minute screen time activity break when you can. Take a 5 to 10 minute brisk walk while you're social distancing. It's great to get out of the house, get out in your neighborhood, move, follow the public health precautions, but it's okay to do this as long as you're following those precautions. And know it all adds up. So 1 minute here and 10 minutes here, and maybe you have time for a 15-minute here. It all adds up to give you that activity across your week. And then consider the role of activity in relation to stress and emotional health. We're going to do an exercise together at the end to target this, because you will really find the more you move, sometimes the better you actually feel. My next tip that people have been asking me a lot is how do I manage this? How do I fit this in with my family? And my answer every time is don't worry about fitting it in. Include your family. Move as a family. You're together and this is a great time. So is there an active video game, or can you take a walk together? Is there an exercise video you can do? I had the pleasure of watching my cousin's boys participate in one of our live streaming videos the other day, and it was amazing to see that and to see everybody moving together and taking a vested interest in activity. It's great role modeling as parents too. And then I want to recommend that you use online streaming fitness sources very carefully. They're everywhere right now, and we're trying to lead the way here at Pitt on this topic as well, which we'll talk about briefly in a moment. But I think the key is really to remember that not all structured modes of exercise are right or safe for everyone. And many times these trainers or celebrity trainers or different people are posting things online, and the reality is they're posting what's good for them or what they're branding themselves upon. They don't know about you on the other side of the screen. So we need to be careful we're not embarking in things that are too intense, especially when you don't have certified professionals in the space to work with you. I'd encourage you to look for introductory tutorials and streams that allow variations that are accessible for all fitness and age levels. And remember that the coach, even though they may be very motivating or very popular or know the latest trends, they cannot truly see you on the other side. And for my students, we've talked about this extensively, is we can do telecoaching, but we still can't come over and help you and really understand what's going on with you with the two-dimensional space that we're currently in. So I encourage you to participate at a level that's really appropriate for you and not feel like you have to match anyone else's standards. So lastly, I finish with start low and go slow. And this is one of the sayings that we hear often from the physical activity guidelines for Americans, encouraging us that it's not about all or nothing or high intense, especially when you're starting. It's really about how can I ramp this up, do a little bit more every day, and make the most of this opportunity. Okay, so let's talk about resources. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing here at Pitt, and also the great things that are actually available for all of you as well. So first and foremost, I'd love to point you to our website, and I believe my team that's handling the chat, thank you, Tom, one of my health fitness specialists, and thank you, Audrey. They're putting things out for everyone in the chat right now. They're looking at links, so if you don't have that open, you can click that at the bottom of your screen. And I must say, and Alexandra said this at the beginning, but if you have a question, make sure you ask the panelists, and they will definitely try to answer those. We'll definitely talk about those at the end. But first, I want to direct you to the website, as I was saying, and we have our newly branded Pitt logos and colors, and I'm very excited for our website. But you can see right off the front that one of the things we're very passionate about is creating affordable, inclusive, accessible, cutting-edge opportunities for physical activity engagement. And we do a lot with faculty and staff, but beyond that, we're really trying to reach out to our broader community and, of course, our alumni. So I encourage you to take a look at our website. And on our website, we also have a brand new resource page called Active at Home. And there's a lot of different areas here. I'm going to try to talk about each of these briefly to give you a sense of some of the great resources that you can tap in. And as we talk about each entity, we're going to be putting a link in the chat to help you get there. So the first one is our newest endeavor, which is live streaming fitness. So, when our gyms closed, we were currently offering about 110 physical activity classes across the university, either for students academically or for our faculty and staff. That's sections per week. So we displaced a lot of people that were really physically active. And Dr. Jakisik and I were thrilled to receive a call from Dr. Humphrey asking us to participate in PittWire Live and to provide live streaming fitness every day to our Pitt community. And I encourage you all to take a look at this. You can tap into all of these events on our university calendar. And I have listed for you, and you can also find this on our resource page on our website, but we have all of the different classes listed in their descriptions. And these are at 7:30 in the morning. Every morning we wake up with a yoga and stretching flow, 30 minutes. We have a 10 o'clock total body workout, mid-morning mashup, we like to call it, with cardio, strength, and core and restore. We have a lunchtime energizer, 15-minute energizer, lunch with a punch, which includes a little kickboxing stress reliever for everybody. And then an evening workout called Finish Strong Pitt. That's a total body workout again. So definitely, I encourage you all to take a look at PittWire Live, but specifically tapping into our page, which recently the Healthy Lifestyle Institute was given its own calendar landing page. So if you search for us under the department or unit, you'll come across our page, which our talk for today. You've all actually indirectly been there if you registered for today's talk. But when you go to our page, you can click and you can see on the bottom there, I have our workouts listed, and you can see those workouts. And when you click on each of those workouts, it'll take you to the full description. And there's two buttons that you really need to pay attention to. The first one is join the stream, which you can click that and join live once the webinar is started. Or you can see the link that's specific. Now, each workout has its own specific Zoom webinar link. So you would need to go into that calendar and kind of click on it to get access to those at any time. But we strongly encourage you to stay engaged. Every day we're here 4 times a day. Even Friday night, we have one more to go today. But we do take the weekends off right now. And we're looking at offering additional courses in addition to this that are openly accessible. So next, I want to talk to you a little bit about our YouTube page. I'm glancing at our time so I can leave time for questions. But that's our next area, is our YouTube page. And actually, this became established in 2014 when I first got interested in the power of an activity break, and really trying to think about how we can do this well and help people in the workplace get up and move. When I was first here, I was charged with helping Gillian Scott, one of my other colleagues who's on this call, you'll get to meet her in a minute, with starting the University Club Fitness Center. And while our numbers grew steadily, they didn't grow right away. And it really got me thinking about this idea that, wow, we're not touching everyone at this university. How can we do better at getting people to get up and move during their workday? So this is how our page started. Now, with COVID-19, we really worked quickly to pull many workouts together, different things together that we could really get people engaged and following full workouts actually online with us. So Gillian and I, thank you Gillian, came together and filmed a bunch of videos rather quickly that we got up and posted. So these are publicly accessible for you. And I want to feature and talk a little bit about our playlists, because we have many playlists that are available to really help you sort through our content. Currently, there are over 700 physical activity freely accessible videos online. So you can sort by interest area. We have playlists for getting started, reviving and restoring, screen time breaks. So if you need to break away, get your eyeballs off the camera and the screen and get up and stretch and move, we have a whole slew of 1 to 2 minute activity breaks already identified. And then there's additional activity breaks. Just in general, you want to get up and learn how to do different activities and tutorials. There's an abundance of content there. You can search by mode. If you like Pilates, or you like core exercise, or you're looking for intense AMRAP exercise. For our intense exercisers, know what I mean by that, as many rounds as possible. Or strength training, you can sort by those things. You can also sort by duration. Are you looking for a longer or short video? And then also by skill level. We try to make as many of our videos as accessible as possible to all skill levels, but we also code if we feel that one is more of an intermediate to an advanced option. So this can really help you navigate the space and not guess if the workouts are right for you. And I have this picture at the bottom, and this is actually Audrey Collins. Audrey's the Audrey C. Manning, our chat right now. But this is a video she made when she was one of my master's level students. She's now one of my doctoral level students. I'm so blessed to have her on my team. But this is an example of a basic workout, and what we also do on our live streams, with someone in the middle doing a basic exercise, someone else doing a higher intensity exercise, and then also a seated version. So many of our videos have a seated accessible version. So if you're interested in getting started, this is a great way to begin. Okay, now I want to point you to our last area, which are these resources at the bottom of this webpage. And these are what I like to call my working groups. And my team of students has been pulling this together recently and creating relevant content for us when we're exercising at home. And we realize there are lots of people out there that are physically active already, that are feeling displaced and looking for resources. But there's also a lot of people out there that aren't exercising, and this could be a really great place to start. So we've created working groups that are building content on a daily basis around getting started with physical activity, around reviving and restoring. So if you're interested in more restorative activity, we're starting to build this resource library for folks. Getting active outdoors, what's safe right now, what is okay as you social distance, and how you can really benefit from being outside, and some interesting ideas for changing it up. We also have an intensity at home working group. So for those folks that are missing that intense class, this is the place for them to go. And then one that I think is really important is our activity for children and families resource page. So how can you, what are some ideas to getting your children active? And I've heard recently that, you know, we're now responsible for helping our children have gym class. So maybe there's some great ideas on here that you can engage your children in. And then strength training at home last. So if you don't have the weights and you don't have the fancy equipment, how do you actually do this effectively? So I really encourage you to check out our webpage, check out these resources, and we've just really started to build content, but every week we have updates on each page. So with that, I want to use the last few minutes here to get us all to move a little bit together, if that's okay with you. And you can follow along with us while you're at home, or you can you know, just watch. That's okay, but I want to give you a little sample. So I am going to actually stop sharing my screen for a moment, and I'm going to ask my team members that are on, would you all mind turning on your cameras, saying hello? Wonderful. Thank you. So everyone, I'd like to introduce some really, really important people that are helping me out. In addition to Tom and Audrey, I have a few other people. And first, I want to introduce Gillian Scott. I mentioned her name a few times, but she is our University Club Fitness Center manager, trainer extraordinaire, longtime colleague and very close friend of mine since 2009. Right, Gillian? We've been working together. Gillian's going to be demonstrating all of our exercises that we're going to show you from a high intensity level, a highly advanced level. Caitlin's going to be doing a middle version. Caitlin's one of our doctoral students. She's in our first year studying with Dr. Jakisik and I, and we're thrilled to have her. And she's going to be showing you a middle ground version of our exercises. And then Aaron is one of my graduate student assistants who's a master's student right now. And he is going to be demonstrating all of our exercises from the seated position. So showing you how, no matter what level you're at, there's a version of every exercise for you. So everybody, let's get started. And I'm going to talk and do a little bit. Follow along at home. If you're sitting with us, you can follow along with Aaron. Okay, everyone. So first I want to talk about the stress release that we talked previously about. So I know I'm looking a little bit away from the camera right now, but I'm looking at my team. And we want to tune into the breathing and the breath that we have. So this is a place where I feel that being active and moving our bodies can help us restore a little bit, manage our stress. So everyone, I want you to take, and we're going to place our hands either on our abdomen or on our hips. And I want you to take for a moment and take a deep breath in. Breath in, inhale and exhale. And do that again. Let's take a breath in and breath out. And one more time, take a deep breath in and breath out. And everyone at home and with my team, I want you to focus in on trying to create the best posture we can. And we call this mountain pose in yoga, but you can do it right at home. You don't have to be a yogi. It doesn't take special skills. It's really just tuning into your posture. So when we build mountain pose, we start at the bottom and we bring our legs together. We squeeze those legs as close as we can. And I want you all to think about whatever position you're in your chair, lengthening that spine up, opening those shoulders. Sometimes I like to roll those shoulders back to open my arms up. And let your chin sit even, straight ahead, and think like energy is trying to come out of the top of your head, yeah? So those palms are forward. You're seeing the team has their palms forward as we open up the day. And think about the name, mountain pose, means standing like a mountain, tall and strong and consistent. And that's what I want you to think about in this posture. How often do you stand this way? How often do you sit this way? Probably not on those Zoom calls. So while you're in this strong position, take a deep breath in and exhale out. Feel the difference in your breath now that you've opened yourself up. And breath in. And breath out. Now, coming out of mountain, I want you to roll your shoulders up and back. Lift those shoulders up and back. And really loosen up those arms. This should feel good if you've been hunched over that computer. And then take it the other way. Take those shoulders forward. 3 or 4 of these. Up and high as you possibly can. My dog's looking at me like I'm crazy right now, but that's okay. And then I want you lastly to take your neck side to side. Just letting that neck gently relax. Side to side. Easy, not jarring it. Just leaning it side to side. And return to center. And close those eyes for 1 second for me. And I want you to take a deep breath in and exhale out. And open those eyes. That's one of the lovely things we like to do to help us get a little stress relief. And think about how easy something like that can be. That's actively engaging your body in the process of helping you with stress relief. Now I want to flip the coin. So you may have learned by now, I'm the kind of person, I like to move my hands, I like to go, I'm an activity person. So for me, sometimes stress relief comes in the form of, I want to move, I want to go fast, I want to punch, I want to get it out. So we offer classes on our stream, that Lunch with a Punch Energizer, that follows this concept. So team, can you start marching for me, please? If you want to follow along at home, you can, great. So you can see we're all marching, doing this activity, kind of marching it out, getting the body going, pumping those arms. Great. And just kind of getting that blood flowing. Sometimes we just need to get the blood flowing in our body to feel a little bit better. Now what I want you all to do is please do out, out, and in for me. So taking those feet out, out, and in. Now you can see Gillian is taking it up a notch. She's moving really nice and fast, moving those feet as quick as she possibly can. And Caitlin is stepping out, out, in. And Erin's doing the same thing in the chair. Kind of keeping that going, holding those hands up just like we're boxing, right? Really trying to get good energy in there. And now from this position, I want you to stop and I want you to take a forward jab. Kind of punching straight forward, yeah? Punching right into that Zoom camera, yeah? Keep it going. So we're punching those arms forward, keeping it moving. Gillian's pushing it nice and fast. The other team members are taking it forward. And then lastly, what I want you all to do is put those hands on top of your head and show us some side crunches. Keeping the lower body really nice and still, except Gillian's taking it up a notch because she's lifting those legs up, yeah? You can alternate side to side or you can do one leg focused, little things like that. And let's all break for a second. Great. So that's a little bit different of a quick activity break that you can get lots of energy out of it, get the blood flowing in a real small matter of time. And sometimes it just feels good to punch it out. It's kind of like punching a pillow. We know that's a well evidence-based therapy, right? So sometimes it just feels good in between those meetings. So I strongly encourage you to take it on. Now I know these are simple, but guess what? It still counts. It's still physical activity. So the last one that I want to do with all of you is stretching. So when we sit at our desk all day, we need to think about stretching our bodies. So first, everybody, let's start by just reaching those arms up overhead, extending those legs out in front of you. Erin, you can do that in the chair with your legs out. Show them how to do that. Great. You can do this right at your computer, reaching those arms up. And then what I want you to do is take what we call a chest opener. Now, Erin and I are going to grab the back of our chair and try to pull our chest forward. But you can see that Caitlin and Gillian's grabbing those fingers. If you can interlace those fingers behind your back, that takes a certain level of mobility in your shoulders. And Caitlin's actually just reaching those arms back nice and strong behind her. We're trying to open that chest up as much as we possibly can. Great. And holding this, breathing in and breathing out, and trying to take 3 to 5 breaths in this position as you hold it can be great. And release. Good. And let's show hands on legs really quick, everybody, rounding that back if you don't mind. These folks are pros. They can go on the fly with me. Round that back over. This is another great position that after you've stretched that chest, by rounding that back over, whether you're standing or you're sitting, and you can even take this, Gillian, we jump it down to the floor and show them this on the floor. You can actually take it down to all fours and be on the floor at the same time. So these are some great stretches for when you're in your chair. You can get going. Thanks, team. That was wonderful. Appreciate you all. Thanks for helping out. And this is also, folks, similar to what you would see on our live streams, having the different people working at the different levels. And Erin and Gillian and Caitlin are featured on a lot of our videos right now, and they're at home and they're doing this from their homes. So I want you all to know how much we appreciate you and everything that you do. So thank you all. This is great. And so everyone, I wanna finish up. You guys can turn your cameras off if you want and take them off the hook. They're like, bye, thanks. So Audrey and Tom, at this point, we've kind of reached the end of what we have to present, but is there some questions that we can address?
Yes, there are.
Thank you.
Let me go back in the chat and find. All right, so this is from Brad. He says, hello and hail to Pitt. Do you have any recommendations for exercise recommendations for someone with inflammation or arthritis?
Absolutely. No, arthritis is tricky because we do need to listen to our body, and listening to our body sometimes is on a daily basis. So it's not always something that we can be super routine about. So we do know that aquatic therapy is great for arthritis and inflammation because it does take the impact off of the joint. However, I know that's not the easiest option right now unless you have your own access to spaces, but it is maybe a little bit cold depending on where you're at. But right now in this time, I think that really starting with basic physical activity programming, walking programs is actually okay. And while exercise can induce some inflammation, it is actually over time helpful for reducing inflammation. So I would encourage anything in the seated position to start as you start to build up cardiovascular fitness and strength fitness, and start to gauge your body and understand how you feel after doing those exercises. If you're on your feet early on and you're doing a lot of impact activities, there's a high likelihood, that you may exacerbate or heighten that inflammation at first. So you really want to be mindful about ramping yourself up nice and slow. And I'm happy to talk to you more if you want to email me and we can discuss it a little further. A member of my team can reach out to you. Great. Good. Thanks for that question. Tom, any others? Audrey?
Yes, we have another question. This comes from Ashley. And let me scroll down to that. All right, so Ashley asks, what sort of schedule would you recommend for combining cardio with weight training for beginner level? There are so many articles and videos online. And just to let you know, Dr. Rogers, I sent her a response saying, our mid-morning mashup is a great start, and wanted to let you know if you wanted to jump off of that.
Yeah, no, thank you. It absolutely is. I think that the live streaming videos that we have are great. And by the way, all of our live streams starting this weekend will be posted on our YouTube page as well. So if you can't get to any of those times, you can watch the videos after the fact. I would definitely say that as you're getting started, thinking about, cardiovascular fitness is really your endurance at the end of the day. And having a really strong foundation in cardiovascular fitness is helpful. So I like to tell folks when they start out, start with trying to get 100 minutes of cardio or aerobic activity. That can be walking, right? In a week, not in a day, in a week. And then slowly every week or every 2 weeks, try to increase that by 20 or 25 minutes. And that's going to help you over time build up that endurance and stamina. Similar to what I said in the last response, is we want to ramp up nice and slow. Now, when it comes to strength training, doing all those things at the same time as you're just getting started, it can be a lot. And what we don't want is to layer too many things on too quickly, and then all of a sudden you're so sore, you don't want to move for a few days. So, you know, strength training, our national recommendation is twice per week at minimum. I really feel that, especially early on, putting a little space in between those workouts is probably a good idea. So every other day, or maybe even 2 days in between as you're getting started, but you can do that cardiovascular activity a little bit every day to help you build up those 100 minutes, but definitely put space between your strength training. And a lot of the movements that Tom mentioned in our workouts right now that we're doing are total body. They're not requiring a lot of heavy weight, so it might be a really nice place to start. And you can follow along with a lot of those early on in a chair. Hopefully that helps your question. Tom, do you have others?
I'm scanning here. We've had a lot of comments. Thanks for everyone for addressing. We have one from Chris, and Chris says that he's looking forward to checking out the website. He's a proud Pitt alumnus as well. He's a PE teacher at the moment. He enjoyed today. He enjoyed today to research new alternative activities for his students while away from school. He has the standard ideas like yoga, walking, fitness videos, etc., and was looking for something beyond that. And he thinks that this website could offer lots of ideas.
Great. Yeah. And I promise you there's more and more content coming, Chris. So it's a work in progress, but my graduate students are every week posting new things. So there's a lot of Easter content up there for kids right now, but we've got some other games and things coming out. So also follow us on social media. They've been posting things there as well. So yeah, great. Thank you. Keep doing your great work. I know this is an interesting time to really, you know, have to try to keep folks physically active and engaged. So I appreciate the work that you do. Any others, guys?
To echo what Tom mentioned, we appreciate your interactions in the chat. Thank you for sharing your questions and comments with us. Dr. Rudders, we have a comment from Michael Haas that says, my wife, kids, and I have been doing these videos during the social distancing.
Oh, good. Thank you, Mike. And I do feel, folks, that, you know, a lot of what we're doing on our live streams is accessible with your family. So if you want to get them involved and get them active, and I encourage you to write us and, you know, send us social media pictures and different things like that. I've had some requests and shout outs from people saying, please do a shout out for my kids. They're exercising, and we'd be more than happy to do that. You're our Pitt family, you're our community, and we want to support you and your family in any way that we possibly can. We're here because we want you to be well and healthy. So please reach out, and we would love to have you on our live streams. It's an honor to have more people on, and we can handle 500 people on every workout. So please encourage your family to get involved. Great. Is there anything else? I know that we had a question, I think, from email. Audrey, can you remind me of that question?
Yes, absolutely. So it was a question in regards to an alternative type of exercise that can help people stay active. So for example, if someone is unable or not interested in performing vigorous exercise and walking may not be feasible, and fitness centers and local resources are not open, what is a good recommendation for an alternative type of exercise that can help to stay fit while at home and social distancing?
Yeah, and this is tough, and I respect this question, and I know that a lot of people have reached out to us about it, and I'm hoping that some of what I discussed today can be helpful in guiding you on this. But I really feel like if you check out some of the library of resources that we have, you'll find that there's a lot of variation in the types of activities that you can do. And one thing I am extraordinarily passionate about is allowing there to be resources out there that aren't just the quote unquote vigorous. So hopefully after seeing Erin in the chair today or checking out some of our videos, you'll see that, or our live stream options available. You can tune in and participate in some of those and not have to do the vigorous version to get in a really great workout. So I know even for me doing the lower versions at time, or the seated versions, I am kind of waking up the next morning and going, oh, I can still feel my back. So I'm hoping some of those resources are available for you, and you can tap into those. Great. Any other questions, team?
No other questions, but we did have a chat from Carrie that mentioned that she enjoyed the stress relief. So I encouraged her to visit our Make It Happen morning live streams that are happening at 7:30 in the morning for similar activities and breathing exercises.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. And even if you're new, don't be intimidated because I said the word yoga. Even if you're new, we are doing it from the chair. We're doing it. Caitlin's on there. She's the super yogi on our morning streams. But I'm doing modified versions, often holding on to a chair. And it's a really great space if you're interested in learning about yoga to tune in and really check out and learn some of these poses and positions. And then our YouTube page, we're also starting a yoga pose of the day tutorial. So there's some really great resources that are popping up on the website and the YouTube page as well. And I should mention that we're working with the Office of Sustainability next week and doing a special Earth Day yoga session with Dr. Sally Sherman, who's one of my affiliated faculty members at the Healthy Lifestyle Institute and School of Education faculty member. And she is a yoga researcher and high level yoga instructor. So if you are someone that enjoys yoga, oh, I'd encourage you to jump on and participate in her class. She's wonderful. So that's 8:15, April 22nd. 45-minute class. So that is free and open to everyone. Awesome. Yay. Okay, so Audrey, Tom, anything else from me that I can answer?
I don't believe so. Just thanks everybody for using the chat, and we have a couple more questions or a couple more comments coming here in the end. Ashley's just thanking us so much for the webinar and for answering her question. Karen, she mentions that she misses her real-time total body fitness classes, and she's loving the live streams this week. So is thanking us for our efforts. And Karen, that's fantastic. We're happy to hear that. Elaine as well, just thanking us and allowing everyone to understand more options that are available to them for exercise.
Well, I appreciate all of your kind comments, and please know that this is an honor for me to be here. And this is our mission, is we're here to help. So my email is listed on the screen. I also have my Twitter handle, but Be Fit Pitt social media and Healthy Lifestyle Institute social media. We're at all things Be Fit Pitt, and then the Pitt HLI as well. So we have the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're in all those places. So please share, spread the word. And we have one more live stream tonight. So if you're motivated and you want to check it out and join us tonight, we will be on at 7:30 p.m. So that's on that Pitt calendar that the team, the link that the team shared with you. So I really hope to see you all take advantage of this resource. Reach out, stay in contact, and thank you once again. You truly made my week.
Gotta unmute myself. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Renee, on behalf of the Pitt Alumni Association and everyone that was able to join us today. We greatly appreciated hearing from you and learning about staying active. I also wanted to do a couple of thank yous from the Pitt Alumni Association for first the School of Education for lending us to you today, to Mike Haas for connecting us and getting you here, and then just wanted to recognize and appreciate the Be Fit Pitt team, your team who was on here today, Gillian, Thomas, Audrey, Aaron, and Caitlin. Thank you guys so much for fielding questions and managing all of that. I don't know about everyone here, but I know I sat up straighter a few times while Renee was talking, so hopefully we're all feeling better heading into the weekend and can use this moving forward. Thank you so much, and we'll be excited to offer more to you all in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out on Pittwire Live as well as your email, and we will, oh, and now you can see Renee's information here.
I'm sorry about that, everybody. Yeah.
I will also make sure that the links and information shared in the chat is sent to you all in a follow-up email so that you have that information. I'll include Renee's contact information here as well. And finally, when we do close the live stream here in a minute, you will be prompted to complete a brief 4-question survey, and we would really love if you could take a few minutes to do that, just so that we can get an idea of how this was and what else you're looking for in the coming weeks. So thank you to everyone for your time. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and you all stay safe, healthy, and now active too.
Wonderful.
Bye.